Hi, I'm Justin.
Also, I hate the way my voice sounds, so if you can, do whatever Photoshop does to voices, make me sound awesome.
And this is my lovely friend,
The beauty in the eyes of the beholder, and it's just about getting into the seat of being the beholder.
Hayley.
I don't think you have to be particularly perceptive. I just think you have to look up.
This podcast is mostly just her telling me stories.
If you expose yourself to the possibility that this might be really awkward, there can be something just really cool on the other side of it.
She thinks that her life and way of looking at things are
Oh, I was kind of waiting on you. I thought you were getting your stuff ready. You're waiting on me?
pretty normal.
You got to edit out all the misinformation about the Amish.
Maybe you can relate.
I would like a chance to re-sing the Amish Paradise.
If you want lighthearted stories
All right, you want to talk about goats?
and stream of consciousness,
I just woke up and needed some friends, and so I bought them.
then you're gonna like the Sunny Side Up podcast.
Sunny side up, sunny side up, sunny side up, sunny side up.
So, if you're at all like me, you may feel that you're living in a world that can be a bit overwhelming and confusing at times. I'm also a huge fan of podcasts, documentaries, docudramas, stories, and of just information in general. Between all of that and the social media and news, sometimes our brains can feel like they're on overload. Hayley and I hope that this podcast can be something of an antidote to all of that. Like little jello shots of joy and distraction. None of it is too serious or really too informative. Mostly it's just two friends who have conversational chemistry talking about whatever enters the minds of relatively ADHD people. We hope you enjoy.
There was a murder at the end of my driveway, but I don't feel like that's my story to tell. We don't
But
really.
I mean, it was the end of your driveway, so
That's
it's
true.
like,
They found the body in the river,
wow.
which is really tragic. And we, start, hey, roll call, family, who all's around.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they identified who she was, it didn't take a day or two to find out who did it. And he was so quick to confess and to tell what happened. It was just the same week we leave and my brother-in-law's turning into his driveway and there's law enforcement everywhere. Howdy, officer. We're just investigating a crime scene. Seems like there was a bludgeoning right here in the middle of the night. And it was the night after my child's birthday party, so all the kids leave the party and come back to our house, and we are eating birthday cake and watching TV and discussing the best flavor cakes, only to find out the next day
That while all this is going on,
yes, somebody's losing their life in a harrowing murder at the end of the driveway. So it's,
oh my gosh.
and it was unsettling for so many reasons
many,
and
yeah.
tragic. But each of the nephews were leaving at different times because they're all just trying to make curfew.
Yep.
Wipe the birthday cake off.
Yeah.
And hop in the car and head home. They could have just driven up.
Yeah.
Any of them at any time could have.
Seen this
And
horrible act.
they ran out of gas. The murderer,
Yeah, so why?
suspected murderer or whatever. If he confesses, I guess it's not
Yeah,
suspect
the
anymore.
confess.
But,
Well,
but he ran out of gas
yeah.
right there, and he said I had to walk to the shed and borrow some gas. He siphoned it out, and it'd have to be my brother-in-law's house.
wait a minute.
which
This
would be
lady
across
that he
the yard.
bludgeoned to death, though.
His girlfriend was with him.
Girlfriend. Okay.
Yeah.
What did he? Why did he bludgeon her?
Drugs were involved.
Okay, fair.
I think probably, in my mind, he ran out of gas. She's telling him, you big idiot, you let us run out of gas in the middle of the swamp. And they probably just got into an argument.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the bludgeoning occurred before or after he stole the gas, but he would have had to have gotten it from my brother-in-law's shed.
Wow.
And so then he cranks the vehicle up and drives to the end of the road. And there's a man who lives under that bridge on the river.
This is by your house.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he lives down there, and he has a lot of dogs. And we always just knew the guy who lives under the bridge with a bunch of dogs. And then a couple of months ago, there was a sign that said dogs for sale. And I was like, oh, no, we need to check on him. Like, is he getting in? Is this a side hustle where he's, or is he liquidating, like, what's happening? Somebody check on him. I think he's fine. But the law enforcement interviewed him, and he said, yes, I heard a vehicle pull down. They saw my tent, turn around, and left, and I hear them peel out and get back on the bridge, and then I hear a splash where something was tossed over. He's like, but he said people typically do that with dogs, so I didn't think much of it. And then that's when we realized that's where all of his dogs came from. He's pulling them out of the river when other people are disposing of them.
That is so sweet.
Yeah, so like so many different feelings in this. Oh my gosh, he's rescuing these animals that nobody else wants.
So the homeless man who has no home, now I want to cry.
But I think people have reached out to him and offered to help. He kind of prefers where he's at.
Yes. The whole homeless thing is such a complex situation, but there's a percentage that are offended.
Like, I'm choosing this.
Yeah, they do not want
And he may
help.
have it right because, like I said, debt is bondage, and he's down there with his tent doing his thing, but I
when
suspect
the Antichrist comes, he's not taking the Walmart credit score of 666 to buy your junk.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this guy could just sell a couple of dogs and buy his
Probably
cash.
fish out of the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he heard the
body hitting.
being tossed in, and didn't think much of it because he said it's typical. It happens with dogs all the time, but nobody suspected that it would be a young woman.
God dang.
I know.
Wow.
Right? And then some people just innocently canoeing the next morning find her. And then the story, so the guy's apprehended at a casino nearby. And
so his move was like bludgeon your girlfriend to death and then like go hit the slots?
Casino. Maybe, do they have free drinks at casinos? Maybe he just needed to be hydrated because they said he was drinking a lot of cranberry drinks. And I don't know why the paper bothered to report that they were cranberry drinks, but is this for nourishment? Did he have kidney issues?
That's right.
What was the importance of that detail?
Yeah.
But as he sobered up from...
Don't cranberry drinks help with urinary tract infections too?
Right.
Ooh.
Like, that's why I'm like, did he have some issues? Or
yeah, maybe.
But as he cleaned up, he was pretty quick to tell what had happened, and he was deeply regretful and said drugs were involved, and he wasn't even aware of what he was doing.
Oh,
but
wow.
30 people called in to say there was another guy with them, and nobody's heard from this guy ever since. So they're still combing my road looking for...
There's a conspiracy theory.
Well, they're looking for another body.
Oh, shoot. Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
Not an accomplice. For whatever reason, they believed that they might have another victim. So they were looking but never found it. But you better believe I'm paying attention whenever I'm driving down the road, like looking in the ditches, because so odd. And the whole time we're thinking we were just inside eating cake while this is happening.
Having a Leave It to Beaver moment. And
how could it be so different just from here to there? But...
That's crazy.
That was Saturday nights in the swamp. Right. Tell me what you did last weekend.
Well, it's like you always think like, well, I'm moving out to the country to get away from all the crime and violence in the city, and then
the crime
it literally
and the
comes to your dead end road.
And the people in the city are like, damn what's going on?
What's up with it? Yeah, that's funny.
Like, we better stay out of the country.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your whole thing with like, the dude living under the bridge with the dogs getting dumped off the bridge does not sound appealing. Hello, lovely friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And it would mean the world if you would tell other people about this podcast and maybe even spam your social media accounts with just how much you're enjoying it. If you are, of course. Also, commenting and rating us on whatever platform you're downloading or streaming from is incredibly helpful to a little startup podcast like this one. On the other hand, if you are dissatisfied with your listening experience, please leave all of that hate on someone else's podcast. Just maybe to confuse them a little bit, right? But most of all, we hope you keep looking up and looking for the sunny side of life.